Hello, my dear students. Myself, Dr. Pitambar Humne, founder Botany for You, and working as Associate Professor and Head Department of Botany, Dharampet MP Dev Memorial Science College, Nagpur, Maharashtra, India. Today, we will see the Watson and Crick's model of DNA in this lecture series in genetics. So, I welcome you all in this online platform for the students of Life Sciences Botany for You. If you are new or not yet subscribe our YouTube channel, then kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel for the alerts of different lectures in life sciences. So first of all, what is DNA? Now the DNA means deoxyribose nucleic acid, means it is a long form. We will see why it is known as the deoxyribose nucleic acid in next slide. So when we are seeing any organism, then that organism is made up of cells, and in eukaryotes there is a presence of nuclear membrane and well organized nucleus. But such type of the nuclear membrane is found to be absent around the nucleus in the prokaryotes, while the presence of such type of the chromosome is also characteristic feature of the eukaryotes. So inside the nucleus there are the presence of such a type of the chromosomes when the cell is in the division phase, and when it is in an interphase there is a presence of chromatin network or the chromatin material. This chromosome is made up of the different components like DNA and histone and non-histone proteins, and all these together are responsible for the formation of these chromosomes. So on this basis we can say that whenever we are talking about this DNA, then the DNA is present in the nucleus of the cells that may the prokaryote or that may the eukaryotes. But in eukaryotes again there are the two cell organelles, that is the chloroplast, and the second one is mitochondria. So in these two different cell organelles again there is a presence of their own DNA, that is known as the chloroplast DNA and mitochondrial DNA. The DNA of the chloroplast and the mitochondria is just similar to that of the DNA of the prokaryotes. There is only the minor difference in between the eukaryotic and the prokaryotic DNA. Otherwise, the complete structure is same. So when we are talking about this DNA, the name indicates D for the deoxyribose sugar. It is present in the nucleus and it is acidic in nature, and hence it is known as the deoxyribose sugar. Then in addition to that of the sugar, there is a presence of phosphate in the form of phosphoric acid having the molecular formula H3PO4, and different nitrogen bases that is known as the purines and pyrimidines. So first of all we will see the sugar which is known as the deoxyribose sugar. This is the structure of deoxyribose sugar, and it is correctly known as 2-deoxyribose ribose sugar. And what is the meaning of that 2-deoxyribose sugar? If you see the structure of ribose sugar, then it is a pentagonal ring which is made up of 4 carbon and 1 oxygen atom, while 5th carbon is present out of the ring. So we can write here the HOH, here only the H and CH2OH. So this is now ribose sugar. If you compare this ribose sugar to that of the 2-deoxyribose sugar, then you will find that this is the first carbon atom, this is second carbon atom, third carbon atom, fourth carbon atom, and this is fifth carbon atom which is present outside the ring. So concentrate on this second carbon atom and this OH, so and compare it with the deoxyribose sugar where there is a presence of only the H. So this 2 means the second carbon atom, De means degeneration of oxygen atom from the ribose sugar, and hence it is known as the 2-deoxyribose sugar, which is one of the component of the DNA. Then phosphate is present in the form of the phosphoric acid H3PO4, which is the molecular formula, and this is the structure of the phosphoric acid, that the phosphate is present in the center and 3 OH groups are attached with it, while the oxygen is attached to the phosphate with the double bond. Then the nitrogen bases which are present in the DNA, they are known as the purines and pyrimidines. Purines are double ring structure and pyrimidines are the single ring structure. So this first one, that is the adenine, and this second one is a guanine, and both these are the double ring structure. Almost both are the similar, having only the difference at some places. So this is a specific type of the difference in between the adenine and the guanine, and both are the purine bases and they are double ring structures. If you see the numbering of the carbon atoms or the nitrogen atoms which are present in this ring, this is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, 7th, 8th and 9th. This is also important because when there is a formation of the DNA molecule, this 9th nitrogen is used for the formation of the bond with the sugar. In the similar manner, there are the pyrimidines which are again of two types, that is thymine and the cytosine. So this first structure is of thymine and this is a cytosine. Here also the similar type of the difference is there in between them, which is the prominent one. Now again here there is a numbering, that is this first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one and sixth one, and the first nitrogen is attached to the sugar. So this is the old system in which this nitrogen was considered as a first. But nowadays if we see the pyrimidines, then this is actually the first nitrogen, second, third, fourth fifth and the sixth. So actually through this there is a attachment of the thymine and the cytosine to that of the deoxyribose sugar during the formation of DNA molecule. So how these different components of the DNA are responsible for the formation of the DNA molecule, we will see in upcoming slides. The chemical structure when formed of this DNA with the help of nitrogen base, sugar and phosphate. So when we are talking nucleoside, it is nothing but the combination of the sugar with that of nitrogen base, any nitrogen base. Now we have the four different type of the nitrogen bases, that is adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. So when this sugar molecule attach with any nitrogen base, so this is a nitrogen base, through a glycosidic linkage or the glycosidic bond from the 9th nitrogen and first carbon of the sugar, and in this way this combination of the sugar and nitrogen base with the glycosidic bond is known as nucleoside. But when this nucleoside added one phosphate in the form of phosphoric acid, then there will be formation of nucleotides. So in this way the one phosphate, one sugar and one nitrogen base are responsible for the formation of one molecule, and that is known as nucleotide. Such a type of the many nucleotides when are present, then it is known as the nucleotide chain. And if we see the many nucleotides are present in the chain, then it is known as polynucleotide chain. And if you see the DNA, then DNA is nothing but a polynucleotide chain in which there is a presence of the sugar in the form of the 2-deoxyribose sugar, 4 different type of the nitrogen bases and the phosphate in the form of the phosphoric acid. So here the at 5th carbon atom there is a attachment of the phosphate with the help of phosphodiester bond. So we can remember this, that the sugar joined with the first carbon atom by the first carbon atom to the 9th carbon of the purine, and that is known as glycosidic linkage, and when the sugar joined with the phosphate, it is known as the phosphodiester bond, and it attaches to that of the pyrimidines, it is with the first carbon atom. So in this way there will the formation of first nucleoside and then the nucleotide, and these nucleotides join with each other and formation of a polynucleotide chain, that is nothing but DNA and the RNA. So we will see here how there is a formation of the DNA with the help of these nucleotide chain. So in this here, this is a sugar molecule, first carbon atom, second carbon atom, third carbon atom, fourth carbon atom, and outside that is a 5th carbon atom. In the similar manner, this is a 9th nitrogen and this is a first nitrogen. So this is a thymine. In pyrimidines there is a first nitrogen which is attached to the first carbon atom of the sugar. This one is the first, second, third, fourth and 5th is outside the ring. So in this way there is a complementary nitrogen base pairing. So here this is now a one nucleotide. This one is one nucleotide. Then this is second nucleotide. So in this way, there will be the formation of the polynucleotide chain. But when we are talking about the DNA, DNA is double stranded. So there are the presence of two strands. So this is one strand, and here there is a formation of another strand. Second thing is that both these strands are anti-parallel to each other. If you see this carbon atom which is present at this end, and that is the fifth, and hence it is known as the fifth dash, while here in this first one, second, third, fourth and fifth. So in this direction there is a third carbon, and hence it is known as the 3 dash. Here again, here there will be the fifth dash, as this one is the fifth carbon, and here 3 dash as it is a third carbon. Means here this condition is present in such a type of the condition in which here there is a 3 dash, here 5 dash, and here 3 dash, and here the 5 dash. And 3 dash and the 5 dash are given on the basis of the number of carbon facing to that particular side, and hence it is known as the antiparallel. So in this way, there will be the formation of the two strands which are antiparallel to each other, and both these strands are joined with each other by means of complementary nitrogen bases. So what is this complementary nitrogen bases? Simply you can remember at Gandhi Chowk. So if you remember this at Gandhi Chowk, then it becomes easy to remember the complementary nitrogen bases. First we will form the 2 hydrogen bonds, and then will form the 3 hydrogen bond. So in counting, the first one will be the 2, and then will be the 3. So in this way, there will be the presence of 2 hydrogen bonds in between the adenine and the thymine, and the 3 hydrogen bonds in between the guanine and the cytosine. So here also you are able to see in between adenine and the thymine there are the presence of 2 hydrogen bonds, and in between the guanine and the cytosine there are the presence of 3 hydrogen bonds. It means that two strands which are antiparallel to each other, they are held together or joined with each other by means of the formation of hydrogen bonds in between them, in between the complementary nitrogen bases. And complementary nitrogen bases are nothing but the at Gandhi Chowk, that is, there is a formation of the 2 hydrogen bonds in between the adenine and the thymine, that is the at, and 3 hydrogen bonds in between the guanine and the cytosine, that is the Gandhi Chowk. So in this way we can easily remember the formation of the chemical structure of the DNA. So this structure is actually is in a such a type of the condition that this structure is not straight but it is helical, and helical means the coiled, means around its axis there is a twisting or coiling of this both these strands which are formed by the sugar, nitrogen bases and the phosphate, and in this way there is a formation of double stranded helical structure in which both these strands are anti-parallel to each other. So see here, this is the 5th dash end, this is 3 dash end. In the similar manner, here 5th dash and 3 dash. So in this way there is a coiling, and this coiling of the DNA molecule is right handed, means in a clockwise direction. These arrows indicate the clockwise direction of the twisting or the coiling of the DNA molecule. See here, now both these strands are anti-parallel to each other and they are joined with each other by means of complementary nitrogen bases. That is, here the C joined with the G, that is the cytosine, joined with the guanine by the 2 hydrogen bonds, 3 hydrogen bonds, and the adenine and thymine with the 2 hydrogen bonds. Means if there is a presence of the cytosine on the one strand, then the guanine will be present on the opposite strand, or the thymine will be present on the first strand, then the adenine will be present on the opposite or the second strand, and in this way there will be the formation of hydrogen bonding in between the complementary nitrogen bases. If we see this angle of the coiling of this DNA molecule, which is proposed by the Watson and Crick, and hence it is known as the Watson and Crick's model of the DNA. For this discovery, Watson and Crick jointly awarded with the Nobel Prize also. And this angle of the coiling is 36 degree. If we see the total number of nitrogen bases which are responsible to complete the one complete turn of this helix, then from this point to this point there is a formation of the one complete turn, and in this one complete turn there are presence of 10 nucleotide base pairs or nucleotide pairs. So this nucleotide pairs require 34 angstrom unit space, or they occupy 34 angstrom unit space, and hence when we are talking about the one nitrogen base pair or nucleotide base pair, then it will occupy 3.4 angstrom unit space. We are talking about the B form of the DNA in which such a type of the condition is there. Again, in addition to this, there are the presence of some other forms of the DNA, that is aDNA, zDNA also. So we are dealing with only the structure of the DNA, and hence we will not discuss that other types. This 34 angstrom unit is nothing but equal to the 3.4 nanometer, and the 3.4 angstrom unit is nothing but 0.34 nanometer. So in this way, here there is a presence of one nitrogen base pair or the nucleotide base pair in 0.34 nanometer distance, or the 3.4 angstrom unit, and the total 10 nitrogen base pairs are present in a one complete turn, and that is the length of 34 angstrom unit or 3.4 nanometer distance. And if you see this point, that is the diameter of the DNA, and this diameter of the DNA is 20 angstrom unit. Either we can say the 20 angstrom unit, or even we can say the diameter is 20 nanometer. So this structure actually represented, discovered and given by Watson and Crick, and hence this is known as the Watson and Crick's model of the DNA. As already told you, they have been awarded with the Nobel Prize for this noble discovery in the field of life sciences. So thank you very much for kind listening of this complete lecture. If you like this lecture, then kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Botany for You, and also press bell icon for the alerts of every lecture to be uploaded on different life sciences titles. Thanks a lot once again.